You're casually walking when you suddenly hear a scary and vicious dog barking in the distance. Your heart rate suddenly increases, you start shaking and you walk faster, and then you feel a sudden sense of fear. What is the interaction between these bodily changes and our sense of emotion? Do the physiological responses come from the thought, "Oh, I'm scared," or did the bodily responses actually trigger the brain and hence perceived it as the emotion, fear? First, we must understand emotion. Emotion is a response that occurs after an event. Emotion is the happiness you feel when you eat a Snickers bar. It's the utter sadness when you drop it. And it's the complete anger when you realize you just wasted a perfectly good Snickers bar. These are just 3 of the universal 7 emotions everyone experiences: happiness, anger, surprise, contempt, disgust, fear, and sadness. These emotions all elicit certain changes. More specifically, they show evident signs of emotional arousal through bodily changes. But how does this interaction work? Well, that's where the James Lange theory of emotion comes into play. In order to experience an emotion, there needs to be a bodily arousal, and then the brain will interpret these changes as a sign of a certain emotion. This theory has changed how psychologists view emotion, practical approaches. For example, if one had a fear of dogs, knowing that the emotion, fear, is a response to a physiological cue, it could be key to treating that phobia through different effective treatments. Later on, Walter Cannon approached the theory in a different manner, introducing the Cannon-Barth theory of emotion, where a stimuli would elicit brain activity and induce 2 separate responses: the physiological response and the cognition response, being conscious of emotion. Another theory which suggested otherwise was the 2-factor theory of emotion. This theory suggested that there is the physiological arousal, then a behavioral response, and then an extra step, the cognitive appraisal, where reasoning occurs, and finally feeling the emotion. The James Lange theory of emotion explains the interaction between emotion and our physiological responses we experience in a response to a stimuli. The Cannon-Barth theory of emotion, the 2-factor theory, also provide another view on the issue, confirming the relationship between the 2 factors. The area of future research would be to look at how different personalities and cultures would perceive different stimuli. If we go back to that vicious dog example, if you love dogs, you'd smile and suddenly feel the emotion, happiness. I mean, who doesn't love dogs?